All right. So the database that we're going to use is going to be called last name, first name access project ACCTV. So you want to create a new blank database. You immediately want to save it as your last name underscore first name access project ACCTV. And we are going to save this in a particular folder that I know you're not going to forget, right? Make sure you know where this is sitting at. Don't leave it in your downloads. Make sure it's somewhere where you're finding it so that when you finish the assignment, you're not surprised with, oh, professor, I lost my assignment. I'm going to be like, tough cookie, right? So let me just leave it on inside this one. All right. Notice that. And why am I asking you to write your name? Because when I download all the Access databases, I want to know which one is what. Now, each one of you has a unique identifier that is attached with your databases every time you create a new database. Do not give me somebody else's assignment. Please don't try. So I said it enough times, right? Okay, moving on. All right, so now that I create a blank database, I'm able to start with a table. I can input data right away, or I can go in and look at the external data. And here, Access allows you the ability to import any type of file that is formatted in a way that uses a standard format, such as comma or tab delimited files, comma separated files, Excel. You're also able to connect via ODVC, which is a standard connection that you use online for cloud databases by using this external data. So what we want to do is import this is changed in 2016, so you will get a new data source. In this case, we're grabbing a file, right? Are we grabbing an Excel file? Yes, so then we go to Excel and we look for that file that happens to be sitting down in my downloads that I got from, where did I get it from again? Blackboard, right? So let me go to my downloads, and of course I have a bunch of downloads. So then I'm just gonna go down to see what was downloaded recently. And that's gonna take me another hour. So it is this particular file. I'm gonna open it. So there's two choices here. I wanna either import the database or I wanna link it. Make sure you import it and not link it. Linking means you wanna make sure that you have your data. When you link something, you give yourself the opportunity to modify the data on the original file, and Access will always be updated. In this case, we don't need to mess with the Excel file anymore. So we just want to import it from the beginning, and that's it. We're never going to go back to the Excel file. So I'm importing that. And then the next thing that it's going to ask me is, well, how would you like to, which worksheets do you want to import? So I want to make sure that I import cash, employees, inventory, all of them, actually, right? I think I got to do one at a time, unfortunately. We're going to do this exercise 12 different times. So let's start with the cash account. The first row contains column headings. Is that big enough, guys? All right. The next thing is I'm going back and I'm looking at what is my question? Right, so if you look at the table in Excel, the first row does not contain data. You can see from line number 1, 2, and 3, if I were to look at the data by itself, you can see that that account number, it's actually a label. So by clicking on first row contains column headings, it's gonna let Access know that that is not an actual field, but that's gonna be the name that it will default to create a field name. All right, so this is, for this purpose, we should have done our UML. So part of the exercise is to create a UML based on this store. So then I should have right next to me my UML that looks at cash, right? In this case, cash, the unique identifier for cash instances would be my account number. So that needs to be indexed with no duplicates. And I know that because you created from exercises, questions 1 through 10, you should have created a UML. And I don't want to go into creating the UML because that's something that you should be creating on your own. And by the way, you're turning that in as well, right? That PDF with the UML. What do I mean by the UML? You're going to have the access to, and in fact, it's going to ask you to also create the table. So if you have the notations, then you can go back here and refer to it. The bank account, and then this is a balance as a 4-1. Notice the data type field right here. That's a currency type. This is going to be a short text. This is short text as well. And short text means less than 255 characters. And this account ID, should it be a number or a text field? If it's an account number, should it be a number field or a text field? Louder, please. Why number? Because it's an account number? Are you going to multiply or do any arithmetic equations with that? So if you're not using the account number for any type of equations, then you should use text. Otherwise, what would be 579 minus 0911? Right? So if you do number, it's going to automatically resolve that field and it will give you a different input, right? All right. It's all right. Now, the next thing is going to say, choose my primary key. In this case, I want my primary key to be my account number, right? And I press next. And then I go next to saving the table into cash. And I don't need to analyze it. I just want to say done. I could save my import steps and call it cash. That means if I ever want to import it again, then I have the definitions of how I import it. This is nice if you're doing imports all the time. Let's say that you're doing an audit, or let's say you're doing financial statements, or you're doing any type of analysis for tax purposes or for audit purposes, and you do this on a periodic basis, then you want to make sure that you save this task. Hopefully you're not going to be working on Access. Maybe something like IDEA instead, right? But some corporations, some firms use Access for that, or worse, paper. All right. You got to do this for each one. Do we want to do this really quick for the next to them? From File, Excel. Now it's going to ask me append. Since I already have a file in there, I could choose to append files. In this case, I don't want to put any, like the rest of the data is not going to go into the cache. I'm going to create a new table. And I'm going to use the cash receipts next. What is my unique identifier here? First row contains headings. Even if I say no, let's just go with it. This is a date. This is a currency. This is short text. The order number is short text. Employee number should be short text. Account number should be short text, and that's it. So this cash receipt should be indexed. I don't have to index it here. I can always just choose my primary key to be my cash receipt number, and that automatically will index it as well. So that's another way of indexing. If you choose no primary key, that's going to be a problem for you when you create the relationships. If you say, let me add another primary key, that's going to create a problem as well, because your unique identifier for this table is being connected to other tables via that cash receipt number. So make sure you use the right number. And if you did your UML, you would see that, in fact, you need to use the cash receipt as your primary key. All right. So that is done. I can finish it. It's going to ask me if I want to save it. I'm going to save it just in case I do a mistake or something. Then I can always go back and change it. Cash receipts. And there you go. Now, if I had made an error, it would have given me a table that says error. Or it would have popped up something that says there was an error importing rows number 2, 3, and 4. That's often the case when you create a table with a different field name. Let's say that you have number fields. If I had done the number fields, let's try to do that real quick. So let's say that I wanted to import the cash account, just to give you a quick example. And instead of choosing account number as a short text, I would have chosen a numeric field. It's possible it would have given me an error. So let's find out. I'm gonna delete this. You don't have to do this. I'm just gonna demonstrate this real quick. Its index or primary cannot contain no value. Why? So it would have given me a bunch of errors. And then you see what happens here, the cash import errors for account number 2, 3, and 4. And then the cash to table is gonna be empty. And this is a problem because that's the unique identifier, so the whole thing is a mess, right? So you see, when you have something like that, it will throw a different table showing you which records were the ones that were okay, am I wasting your time? Should we do a few others or not? Doesn't have their platform with you, the database, and what's going on with your colleagues here? Cecilia, right? Okay. Yeah, sure. Please do.
Is the index always going to be yes, no duplicates?
No, that depends. So let's go back to the index.
Yeah.
So let me go to the external data once again. Let's go to the next one from File Excel. I'll try to do this faster now. You click it. It's so annoying that you have to do this one at a time, but it's okay. Let's say we're doing employees. And if I go to employees, and if you didn't catch up with me, try to catch up with me, and then you can always go back to table 1 and 2. I can leave it like this, right? And when I create my primary key, I can always select employee, and that automatically makes it into a index field that is not supposed to have duplicates, right? Your primary key should uniquely identify every record in there. That means that there cannot be any duplicates. So going back here, I could have chosen yes, no duplicates, or I could have left it blank. Now, if I know that I'm gonna be sorting stuff and I wanted to act fast, I could use this. I could index this, for example. I could say yes, index the supervising employee. So every person has a supervisor in this case, or some of them do. I want to make sure that they're indexed, but you can have more than one instance, one person supervising many employees. So in this case, I would allow duplicates in that case.
So cash receipts wouldn't have any duplicates, right?
Cash receipts would not have any duplicates, correct? Correct. All right, let me just take a look at all the fields. You want to sit on the other side so you can see? It's all right. Okay, so last name is short text, first name, address, city, zip. Ooh, there's a problem, right? Should zip code be a double? What if I have a 00 zip code? That's going to be a problem, so I'm going to switch this to a short text as well. Phone number, are we multiplying, dividing, or anything like that? So then we use a short text as well. Hire date is a date with time. Department is short text as well. Almost everything should be short text. Salary, wage, pay amount should be currency, and then we're done. Now, Access has different data fields than SQL. Currency is an easy way that Access came up with it. In a real database, you would not have a currency field. You would have a double float, whatever. All right. Next. Employee number, employee ID, and we are finito. That's it. I'm now going to do fabric colors. Fabric colors have their own code, right? This is a typification table. Does anybody have any questions? Question. Qu'est-ce que ça? The employee. So it's blank when you imported it.
You know how we used to choose my own primary key?
Mm-hmm.
And then it gives you the list.
Okay.
Employee number is not.
Because you changed the when you go back and when you selected whether you wanted duplicates or not, you must have selected duplicates. Okay. Right?
Oh yeah, I think this is the check mark.
Okay. Because you could also skip a field, right? And if you skip a field, then that's the case too. All right. So that's done. Is this useful or not? Or we go to chapter 6 now? Inventory is next. Next. Catalog is short text, short text, short text, short text, short text. Color code is short text, duplicates okay. So foreign keys, and you don't have to do this, but foreign keys should be indexed with duplicates, right? And you don't have to do that. That's for database engineers to know. So as long as you give me the right primary key, you're fine. That's just for databases to work a little more efficiently. So don't worry about the indexing. If you wanted to know, it just makes the database work faster. And if you're talking about millions of records, then you want to make sure they're indexed. But if this is just a little exercise, no big deal. All right, but what you do need to know is the type of field that you're using to make sure that you can operate it correctly. All right, so in this case, I'm done. Catalog number is my primary key for the inventory table. I'm not even gonna save it anymore. Who's going faster than me? So now that I have inventory, don't I need inventory types? That is a typification table. Types are typification tables, right? This is type code. By the way, if I press on this little click box, it means do not import. So you will skip that. So do not click that. But sometimes you do. Sometimes you're importing stuff that is, and you only need a few fields, and you want to skip the rest, and that's the way you would skip it. All right. Type code, use All right, so this is a double because it has a period. So it means that you want a number to the left of the period and a number to the right of the period, and we call that a double. It should be no duplicates. Next, choose my ID, type code, and voila. Bueno, how many more?
Are there gonna be like a lot of them that we're importing that we're gonna have to change that? You said we don't have to change that index field, but with the yes, no.
Yeah, so I would not worry about it. What I want to make sure that you do look at is the type of field that you're using, because that is important for you to be able to do equations with currency amounts or any other stuff. All right, so here we go, inventory types. So we still have we have about 4 more tables. Let's just do them. Retailer customers, those are customers. First row contains headings. That would be my unique identifier. In fact, I'm just gonna leave it like that because that will get fixed once I select the customer. As long as I'm looking at the data type field, bless you. I'm gonna leave it like that. See, I would normally change this to an index with no duplicates, but I'm gonna leave it like that. Customer ID, finished. Next. External data, new data from file, Excel. It's painful, guys. It should just grab them all one at a time. All right, so I did retailer customers. Now I need to do the retailer sales. So it's just like my sales table. First row contains headings. We gotta be careful with this. We have an order number, order date. Yep, next. My order ID should be my last name. And then finally, not my last name, but the unique field, okay. Okay, I hope this helps.